My name is Kris Luckenbach. I'm a professional photographer and live in remote Alaska. Drones have allowed me to explore the world in a whole new light and have expanded my creativity tenfold. I've had the Mavic 2 Pro by my side since the release of the revolutionary flying machine, but now the time has come to get the Mavic 3. Well guys, I did it. Upgraded the lens and then upgraded this. Goodbye compass error and welcome Mavic 3. I'm actually gonna unbox it now. I'm in the parking lot. I'm gonna just charge it real quick and maybe get the first flight in a little later. Still got like 4 hours for sunset. Downloading the Fly app now. Just got back to the B&B and I don't know if I'm gonna have time to get my first flight in, and guess what? It's raining tomorrow, so it's a little tricky right now. We'll see if we can get this zoomed up here and update it real quick and get one flight. All right, well, as you can see, it's getting, come on, shut up. It's getting pretty dark out really quick. We got 22 minutes to get to our destination and 22 minutes before sunset, so it's gonna be testing out the low light on the Mavic. We're gonna go to Beluga Point or somewhere near there. Let's just get there and hope we can get everything going. It took so long to update. The Wi-Fi was going so slow. All right, setting up for the first flight. Let's get this bad boy unpacked. I don't even know what I did here. I found out that this is also a book bag. That's pretty cool. Let's get this thing going. I really like this protective case. Way better than just the gimbal cover on the Mavic 2 Pro. Listen to this thing start up. That's slick. All right, well, I'm hoping for no issues. One thing with the Mavic 2 Pro is if I was within like 20 feet of my vehicle, it would make me do this compass calibration, and I really hated that. It took up so much time. It would take up like 10 minutes of my time. Get into this DJI Fly app. I've never used it before. I got 6 minutes of internal footage. You know what? I got another memory card somewhere. I'll do that later. Let me just get this thing up in there. I just use the internal footage for now. But that's quiet. First time you fly a drone, just let it hover for a minute. Make sure everything's good. Go up, left, right. Just make sure everything works good for now. That's good enough for me. I'm gonna have to adjust some gimbal settings and get everything nice and smooth, but I really wanted to get some shots tonight. Alrighty guys, we made it to the Hatchery Pass Lodge and cabins over here. It is a really iconic and pretty spot in Alaska, and we got kind of lucky. There's no rain at the moment, so I'm gonna do a test between the Mavic 2 Pro and the Mavic 3. The issue that I have with this Mavic 2 is, one, the battery aren't as, they're really dying pretty quick. Every time I go to launch it, it takes forever because I have to do a compass error. Supposedly not a problem on this Mavic 3 beast, so I'm gonna do a test from unfolding the drone to setting it up, launching it. So the whole setup process, which one's faster? Hopefully it's not in my head that this Mavic 3 is a beast. So let's go ahead and get everything set up here. All right, starting with the Mavic 2 Pro. Let's get it going, starting now. So it's ready to go vision. There it is, compass error. Let me just start recording. I should have recorded the screen. So, compass error, start. Then you gotta rotate in 360. Good. Rotate this way. Good. Ready to go. Alright, we'll call that time. Alright, we'll call that time. Alright, so the reason that I got the Mavic 3 is, one, the Mavic 2 was just getting old. It had that issue. Obviously, that's what I just talked about. But another thing is, I was doing this road trip here and I was like, man, I'm getting like so much of the same footage that I've gotten, and the clouds look the same, and it's just a hassle to even launch it with everything. And I've been really wanting the Mavic 3 after the recent fixes and everything, and finally pulled the trigger. I'm really excited about that 7x zoom. You can just make a whole new world with it, and plus the double the battery length, which is really nice. So really excited for what I can accomplish with what I got now. But this Independence Mine is really cool. I like the color layout and everything. All right, well, it's a windy day and I got a bunch of seagulls here, but that's the Tusty. That's my ride back to Kodiak tomorrow. And I said, you know what? It's windy, just got this new Mavic 3. Why not test out what it can do in the wind? Right here is actually not too bad, but once you go up above this little rock area, like 20, 25 mile an hour winds. I feel like it's more though, but you can see on the flags, pretty windy out. Let's get this thing up in the air and test it out. All right, we're all set. It's handling like a champ right now. The only thing I'm worried about is I'm gonna get away from these seagulls. All right, I finally got the first strong wind warning. All right, second time the strong wind warning keeps coming up. We got a helicopter coming in, so I'm just gonna lower it. He's way out there, but so I handled it pretty good. No issues. Definitely has some strong gusts. You know, that's one thing I always like about the Mavic 2 Pro was it could handle the wind. This Mavic 3 handled it pretty good. I actually probably wouldn't have flown the Mavic 2 in that wind, but the Mavic 3 handles it pretty good. It's not something I'm gonna play with a lot because I'm over the water too, so if wind takes it, then it's just gone. But the wind test, approved. When testing very low light, switch from D-Log to standard video color format to access higher ISO. There is a little noise as expected with a micro Four Thirds sensor, but it handled it well. Moving on to the quality of the 7x zoom. I will say that I don't believe that this can be used professionally, but it adds a really cool aspect I can use in YouTube videos. One trick with the zoom lens is to find two subjects that have separation and create a movement around them. I prefer an orbit. For active track, I tested driving faster than the drone can handle. You can see the drone can't handle it well, but to be fair, I did disappear completely from the frame. Although it did just stop here for no reason. When driving 35 miles per hour and below, I found no issue whatsoever. I really enjoy active track and orbiting around a subject. I find this to work the best and also my favorite. Okay, moving on to quickly test the dynamic range between the two drones. On the left is the Mavic 3, on the right is the Mavic 2 Pro. I'm going to show you guys a quick method I use to color correct my photos. It's really simple with this program called Cinematch. So I drag it onto my clip and I'll select DJI Mavic 3, apply. I'll scroll down here and apply Rec 709 transform. Boom, look at that. Real simple, and that's all you have to do. Same thing with the Mavic 2. I'll just drag this here, choose DJI Mavic 2 Pro, apply, and apply. Now I did shoot this a little cooler. I'm just gonna warm it up, and it does a really good job, better than Lumetri's warmth. So we're gonna see if we can recover these shadows, and I'm just gonna scroll that up that way, and does a decent job. You can see some color fringing here and here, but overall pretty good. I wouldn't even raise the shadows that high anyway. Probably be like right there. So I'm pretty happy with it. Sometimes things are just black in sunsets, and that's what they're supposed to look like. Okay, Mavic 3, raise the shadows. Look how much they recover, and they look really clean, a lot cleaner actually, but I wouldn't raise them that high. I'd probably leave them right here, and then leave the highlights where they are, up the contrast, and that's probably how I would leave it. So I think it does a really good job for both drones, but the Mavic 3 is supposed to be the better one. I don't see a big difference. I think they both do a very good job. Alrighty, well, I'm back in beautiful Kodiak, Alaska. This is my home. It is remote, only accessible by boat or plane, but it's just a really gorgeous place to live when it's sunny out like this. I've had a lot of time to test out the Mavic 3, and I'm gonna give some final thoughts of what I think about the drone. There's some things that I really like and a few things I don't like that I'll touch on as well. Let me get off the things that I don't like first and just get that out of the way. One of the biggest things is the DJI Fly app. It's missing some features that the Gopro app had that I really enjoyed, like the tap fly feature. You just press the button and it flies forward. It was great for getting drone shots as I'm driving along the road or something, and I didn't have to worry about touching any controls, and I knew it would just fly straight and not crooked or anything like that. Also, there's no waypoint for video. So that's like the two big things that I don't really like with the Fly app. But other than that, the drone really does fly solid, especially in wind. It's really windy, and hopefully this Rode Wireless Go is doing a good job containing that, but definitely a good breeze out here. I'm really impressed with just how stable it is in high wind. Even the 7x zoom is fairly stable for being that far zoomed in, and that is pretty impressive in this little beast of a thing. When it came to the low light, and I flew this in Homer at after dark, and there's a little bit of light on the horizon still, but that's just what it looks like at this time of year in Alaska. I was really impressed with how well it came out. You do have to shoot in standard mode. You can't use D-Log, and that's okay. But for 3200 ISO, I think the video came out pretty good.
didn't have that much noise in it, which I was pretty impressed with. I think the active track works very well on this drone, a lot better than the Mavic 2 Pro, especially with all these sensors. I really trust that it can stay next to trees and not hit. I did crash my Mavic 2 Pro once, and it was because I was flying sideways and it went right into a tree. It actually landed in the tree, and you can watch that video right up here. But with this Mavic 3, I really do trust it. I used a bypass on the sensors, and I've been trying out Nifty, which is pretty cool little setting there. But yeah, overall, I'm really happy with this drone. I was actually really nervous about buying this Mavic 3. I saw a lot of issues on forearms, and forearms. I saw a lot of issues on forums, and I didn't think that the drone would live up to the reputation that it has, but after flying it, I can safely say that I totally recommend upgrading, especially if you have an older drone like the Mavic 2 Pro or maybe the original DJI Air, and you just want something that's a little more sturdy. My friend Shane just crashed his Air 2 into a tree because it was standing still and a gust of wind took it, and I don't feel like I'm too concerned with that issue on the Mavic Pro series, which is the 2 Pro and the 3. Anyway, I hope you guys enjoyed the video. I hope you found it entertaining. I hope that you guys learned something new about this drone. It's definitely got some learning curves. My favorite feature is definitely just being able to just track a subject and then just orbit around it. It's so much easier. You don't have to do it manually. That eagle is being really loud. But all right, thanks for watching, guys. Catch you in the next one. Well, I'm a liar. Do you want to know what my favorite part about this drone is? Being lazy.